Hi, my name is Lisa Precht, and this is the first of a number of videos that I'm going to post on my website of things that I do to help us to stay healthy as a family. I don't really like to use traditional medicine, although I definitely believe in it, that there's a place for it. And I am not at all ashamed to say that if I have a bad headache, I'll grab an aspirin or a Tylenol or something. And I'm certainly not somebody that's so crazy that I'm not going to use a traditional MD if my kids are in trouble or need something. But I guess I just really believe that God put everything that we need on the planet. And sadly, our generation has just gotten so far removed from being able to search out all of the good medicines that are in nature. We're not taught, and it's not been handed down to us to go out into our backyard and pick leaves or get bark off trees or berries or things like that to use because they've been put there for our use and they really work. So I've really got an interest in learning about this. I think it's fascinating, and to be honest, so many of these things really work. And you know, every other commercial on television is a drug ad, and you know, I think sadly, so many people are just have been sold a bill of goods that if you know the government makes it, that it must be okay. And you know, there's a lot of great medicines. Thank goodness that we have antibiotics and Tylenol and all those good things. You know, they can be great. There's a place for them, but the big drug companies can't patent you know, ginger or garlic or echinacea and things like that that are found in nature because they weren't made by them. They were made by God. So anyway, I want to do a series of videos on things that I like to use and ways to show you how to use them. They're easy, they're safe, and a lot of them taste really, really good. So it's really, you know, it's really not hard to get your kids to be on board with this type of healing practice. So the first thing that I'm going to make today is something called fire cider. And, you know, unfortunately, if I would have made this a month ago, it would be ready for me now because I've been suffering with kind of an upper respiratory chest kind of a thing that my kids both got. And if you're a mom, like me, you know that we're so busy taking care of everybody else. And we get close to our kids and we're snuggling with them and we're trying to get them to feel better. And then what happens? We get sick and then everybody's off to school and work. And guess what? There's nobody to take care of us. So we kind of got to suffer through it. So I've been suffering through it for the last few days and feeling a little bit better. I've been doctoring myself quite a bit with some other kind of remedies, which I'll share in another video. But this fire cider is something that people have been using for generations, and it's a very very medicinal type of a vinegar that's very spicy and hot. And if you know anything about healing medicines in nature, spicy healing things are spicy hot things are really good for us because they help to fight off the bad guys in our bloodstreams and in our bodies, and they're also very warming and can help with kind of pushing that bad stuff out of our body because it's warm, and it almost acts as your body's own heater, like what happens when you have a fever. So I want to show you what I've done. I've grated up some ginger in a bowl here. I don't know if you can see this, but ginger is kind of tricky to grate, actually. So you can grate it with a hand grater. It takes forever, and if you're like me, you're really nervous about shaving the ends of your fingers off, so I don't recommend it. If you have a food processor, use that. Another thing that it calls for is horseradish, which it's kind of a little hard to find. I found it at Cub, actually, and I don't think they use a lot of it because a lot of the pieces of it didn't look so good. But I grabbed the last 2 pieces of it. In fact, when I went up to pay for it, the woman had no idea what it was. That's how rare I think, you know, they sell it. So this recipe calls for onion and garlic and ginger root, horseradish, apple cider vinegar, honey, and cayenne powder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it, and then I'll post the recipe on my website as well. So we are going to start by, I've got a big jar here, and any kind of a clean jar is fine, or something with a lid, a bottle is fine too as well. And I've chopped up an onion and peeled it, and so I'm just taking that and I'm putting it in the jar here. So we're going to put that in the jar, and I'll show you what this looks like when I'm all done. And the next ingredient is 4 to 5 cloves of garlic. So I'm going to tell you, maybe another reason that this is so good for you is because it keeps all the other people that are sick away from you because you smell so bad. Hold on. Okay, so 4 to 5 cloves of garlic, and what I've done is I've just got a jar here of already chopped up garlic because I just didn't feel like chopping it. And I had this already, so I'm going to do 1, 2, I'm totally eyeballing it, 3, 4 and a half. So there's my 4 to 5 cloves of garlic. 3 to 4 tablespoons of freshly grated ginger root, and I'm just going to use my fingers to put this in the jar here. So a tablespoon is probably about that much. I don't know if you can see the lighting, it's probably bad. I am not a videographer, guys. I'm just a regular old mom trying to share my information. There's 2, 3. We need 3 to 4, so I'm going to do 3.5. I really like ginger a lot. My kids will tease me all the time because I know they think I'm a little bit of a freak when it comes to this kind of stuff. But my daughter, who's in college, actually is starting to take on some of these great habits by rubbing lavender on her feet at night and drinking tea. And you go, girl. I think that's awesome. Okay, and 3 to 4 tablespoons of freshly grated horseradish root. And I've got to grate that, so I will be right back.